Bonjour tout le monde. Aujourd'hui, c'est mercredi le 27 avril. Le mot de passe, which you'll need for your Flipgrid. Quelle heure est-il? And you're going to be answering the question in your Flipgrid as well. Quelle heure est-il? Il est, for me right now, il est 7h57. 7h57. So answer that question for yourself. Hopefully you completed the Edpuzzle activity yesterday, which will be very helpful with this. If you haven't yet, you might want to complete that before you do your Flipgrid. TPR, also part of the Flipgrid, so make sure you look at slide 5 if you want some help with that. Et aujourd'hui dans l'histoire. Aujourd'hui, c'est mercredi le 27 avril en 1848. La France a aboli l'esclavage pour la deuxième fois. Aboli, that is a cognate, abolished. L'esclavage, based on the pictures as well as the word slavery. Pour la deuxième fois, the second time. Pendant la Révolution française, le gouvernement révolutionnaire a aboli l'esclavage. So the revolutionary government during the French Revolution did get rid of slavery dans toutes les colonies et territoires françaises. Mais en 1802, Napoléon Bonaparte a légalisé l'esclavage pour des raisons économiques. Donc, Napoleon, you've probably heard of him before. He's pretty well known in history, and also you might have just heard of him through our Aujourd'hui dans l'Histoire, because we talked about him before. But he went ahead and brought back slavery for economic reasons, because they needed cheap labor, which, what an awful reason, but that's history. 1802 up until 1848, it was still abolished, or it was still legal and then abolished at that point. Bon, voila. You don't need to complete a discussion for this one, but I think it's a pretty interesting and important day in French history. Okay, Alice Ayel. So here's what we're going to do. This is a French teacher. She has a lot of YouTube videos, who's going to go through and tell a story called Le Weekend. You can get to it from here or from down here. The Google form is linked in both places. So in this Google form, you're going to find a video and then questions that go along with the video. So your first order of business is to complete this Google form. Après, after that, écrivez, copiez, le write and discuss dans ton cahier. So this is going to go into your notebook, cahier, just like every other write and discuss. Make sure you double space it for translation next week, and we'll have our quiz on this demain. First, let's go through and I'll just read it for you. C'est samedi, samedi, lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi, vendredi, samedi, dimanche. Samedi, c'est Saturday. C'est samedi, il y a un garçon qui s'appelle Julien. Julien a 13 ans. C'est un adolescent. An adolescent. We have that word in English too, but we probably wouldn't say he's an adolescent. We would probably more likely say he's a teenager. C'est le week-end. Donc, la maman de Julien propose des activités. Elle lui dit, Julien, on va au cinéma, on va voir un film et manger du popcorn. Mais Julien ne veut pas aller au cinéma. We see on here. On va au cinéma. On va voir. On means one, and we use that in English sometimes too when we're talking about people in general. Like, one should go to the dentist every 6 months, for example. So in French, you can use it as people in general. In fact, it's more common in French than it is in English to use that term. But in French, it can also mean we. So it's a kind of less formal way of saying we. We know that we is nous. We learned that with our story the last couple weeks. But you can also use on to mean we in a less formal way. So, on va voir un film et manger du popcorn. Mais Julien ne veut pas aller au cinéma. La maman de Julien lui propose une autre activité. Elle lui demande, est-ce que tu veux aller au parc avec moi? Mais Julien ne veut pas aller au parc. Non, c'est ennuyeux. Ennuyeux. La maman de Julien lui propose une troisième activité, activité numéro 3. Elle lui demande, est-ce que tu veux aller au bowling? Julien ne veut pas aller au bowling. Maintenant, la maman de Julien est frustrée. Elle lui demande, qu'est-ce que tu veux faire, Julien? Remember, qu'est-ce que? Just a big long way of saying what? Qu'est-ce que tu veux faire, Julien? Et Julien répond, je suis adolescent, je veux dormir. Voila. So he doesn't want to do any of these fun activities and just wants to sleep, which might be something with which you can relate, or maybe not. But either way, complete the Google form, copy this down, and once you've done those 2 items, as well as the Flipgrid, you'll be all set for today. Au revoir tout le monde.